So we got 2 cups of flour. We got our little well in our flour. This is 2 cups of flour. And I'm also going to just keep this extra flour here. There's like a 1/4 cup of extra flour there on the side because we might need that. It's only flour, guys. It's not going to hurt you, okay? So if it gets on you. The next fun thing is the eggs, all right? So this is hilarious. I did this with 2 middle school classes yesterday, and they really had a good time with this part. 2 whole eggs. Crack them on the inside of your bowl or on a flat of table. Now, in another container, let's move the well out of the way for right now. Another bowl, we're going to crack our 6 eggs, but we're only going to use the yolk. So we have to learn how to separate our eggs. There's tools you can buy. You can do it with your eggshells. I like to do it this way with really clean hand. I just go in there, stick my hand right in the goo, hold that egg gently like this, that egg yolk, and all the whites will fall away. Then you're left with an egg yolk. See that? Then you just toss that little, gently slide that little egg yolk right in there. So we need 6 of those. So here's the eggshell method. You scoop some of it out, and then you go back and forth between your eggs shells. And then you can get rid of a lot of the egg white that way. Okay, always wipe your hands off. And you always wash your hands after using raw meat or eggs, because you can get sick from raw egg. And a lot of kids will try to eat raw egg, like in cookie dough and everything like that. Now you're going to take your fork. We're going to go kind of fast now. And you're just going to beat this up a little bit, your egg. 4 ingredients to make pasta dough, okay? Here's your flour, egg, 3, a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. We're going to put 1 tablespoon in there. I'm just going to eyeball it, but basically 1 tablespoon. Just to add a little bit of richness, a little bit of smoothness. And then you're going to put a pinch of salt, which I'm just going to pull it out of my container, but this is about a pinch. It's just a little tiny little, like a little pinch of salt in there, okay? All right, beat that up. Pour this into your well carefully. Right in your well it goes, very carefully. I am doing this on in a casserole pan because I'm on video. And I'm trying not to make a huge mess. There you go. Egg in. Soak this right away. Egg, look at that, it's beautiful. It looks like a big egg, right?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, then you take your, I know, it's gorgeous. And then you take your little fork here, and you're going to start just pulling some of the edge of your flour in. Let's check my time, 11:21. Okay, good. Oh, the dam is starting to break over on this side. So you get this kind of started mixing this in, pulling it. And I have a dam break over here on the other side. That's okay. It happens. Good thing I have it in the casserole. So you're just going to start incorporating this flour and egg together with your fork until you get to a point where you think you can get your hands in it. And guys, I don't know about you, but I just love mixing things up with my own hands. Whenever you walk into a kitchen, at school, at home, anywhere, at church, always wash your hands. And anytime you leave the kitchen and come back, always wash your hands. Okay, so look, this is nice and crumbly. Now it's time for me to get my hands into it. You see that? It's just crumbly. Now we're going to get my hands into it. I'm going to clean this fork off. And I have washed my hands several times, so there we go. And I'm just going to start pulling this together gently. And this is what we're making, guys, is a rustic pasta. Rustic means sort of it's a little bit going to be bigger, a little chunkier than like a pasta that we're going to put through a machine. We're not going to put this through a machine. We're going to use our hands, our rolling pin, and our knife. We're not going to put it through the KitchenAid attachment that many people have, although that's really fun to do. Today we're just going to do this like the simple old-fashioned way. So as you're doing this, you will notice if you need more flour, if it seems too wet, you can add a little bit more flour. If it seems too dry, you can add maybe a splidge of water, you know, but don't, usually it's the other way around. Usually it's like you need more flour. Okay, now that we have this, we're at this point where it's kind of in a ball. Okay, so I'm gonna do this thing where I lift and push down. Okay, good. Lift and push down, lift and fold, lift and fold, lift and fold. This needs a little bit more flour. So according to our recipe and according to my experience, we should need this for 6 to 7 minutes. So at 11:31, we'll be able to rest this. The reason we're needing this for 7 minutes or so, it says actually in the recipe 7 to 10 minutes, is you want to build up the gluten. You want that gluten to be there, and if you're gluten intolerant, then you use different flours. You can use rice flour, things like that. But you want to build up that gluten, that stretchiness in your dough. And you'll see what I mean later when I do the test to see if it bounces back. So here we go. This is the dough. It's in plastic film or the plastic bag. You can put it in plastic wrap. This is going to rest for a half an hour up until 12 o'clock. And then at the end, we're going to cook it. Maybe before 12 o'clock, we're going to cook this, roll it out, cook it. Okay, with our other pasta. This only takes 3 to 4 minutes to cook. This dough feels a little sticky still. I'm just going to give it a couple more kneads.
Thank you, Patrick.
Can you see this, guys?
You're welcome.
I'm giving this a couple more kneads. This is actually how I wedge clay, the way I'm doing it now, which is a spiral. I just make a little spiral, like it turns into a conical shape. But you're just building up that gluten.
Can we see Patrick?
Oh, Patrick, they want to see you. Patrick is famous. Get your face in there. Patrick is famous. You'll see him when he gets to taste it. Okay, here we go. So now I'm going to take this dough. Let's see if it springs back a little bit. And this is a test. What you do is you want to push your finger in it. Oh yes, it's springing back. If you push your finger in it and it starts to come back up, that's when you know you've built up enough gluten. Okay? So then you're going to take your knife and just divide it up into 4 parts or 2 parts. We're going to do quarters right now. Put it back in the bag. Put it back in the bag so it doesn't dry out. Okay? You take your thing here, your dough piece, make like a little cookie. Okay?
Cookies.
Like a little cookie. There, right down on the ground. Some flour on top of that. Rolling pin. All right. And roll. So you can see it stretching back on itself a little bit, and how I was shown to do this was keep it going. You can fold it. The goal is to get this as thin enough that you can see your hand through. So I'm going to do a little fold there to get it more rectangular shape. Getting there, getting there. I'm going to fold this again. You don't have to do this folding process, but I think it is helpful to get it into a nice shape at the end. And then when you fold things, if you ever worked in pastry, like if you had a croissant or any fine pastry at the baking shop, there's all those thin little layers. This is how they do that. They fold things and roll it and chill it, and that's called lamination. Okay. You want to get this as thin as you possibly can without breaking it. Oh, this is starting to look real nice. Okay, so I'm gonna lift this up and show you guys. You see that? I'm gonna see if I can see my hand through it. Not quite yet. Not quite yet. I'm gonna just make it a little thinner if I can. Flour right here. Oh yeah, there we go. I can see the flour through it on the table, so I think we're pretty much there. Oh, nice, okay. Nice and thin. And again, this is gonna be rustic. So what happens is when you do this, so we're gonna flour it again. Now what we're gonna do is, now my friends who are Italian, they're gonna like probably complain that this is not the best way to do everything, but we're trying our best here. I know one lady, she makes excellent Italian pasta, and she rolls and rolls and rolls big sheets of pasta, and she flips it over her rolling pin to transfer it back to the table. All this really cool technique. I don't have that yet, guys. To be perfectly honest. Then I'm gonna roll it over onto itself and give it some little slices, just like this. My kitchen table should be safe. This is not like chopping it with a lot of force, but just slicing it gently. And what happens, you'll see with these noodles, is when they hit the water and cook, they're gonna expand a little bit. So they're gonna actually look bigger in the end, and that's all right. Like I said, this is a rustic dish we're doing. We're not doing, every noodle does not have to be perfect. And then you're gonna take these little noodles and you're gonna kind of fluff them. Fluff them up. And the thinner your noodle is, the more longer.
Pasta.
Yes, look, this is how you make pasta. This is really like the old way of making pasta. So as soon as we bought our first home, we painted all of our house in vibrant colors. So the kitchen is peacock tail teal and purple, light purple, violet or something. Then we have like little things that we painted all over the place. We have like billiard table green, we have scarlet red, we have all gold, silver. Our house is like very colorful. So, okay, here we go. The stuff is boiling. Let's get the pasta ready. This is like a good amount of pasta for like 1 or 2 people. Okay, you don't want to like take the whole box and literally, if you're just having a meal. Okay, just like that. And you're gonna break it in half by pointing it. Hold it close like this. You don't have to break it in half, but I like to push it, aim it toward the pot, not towards somebody's face, and break it. Okay, drop. All right. Then we're going to take our potato dumpling. So we're going to have these bigger things in here. So we're actually going to have light, medium, heavy pasta. Okay. So that was the heavy. The angel hair was the light. We're going to mix that around. And then the last thing is going to be our homemade pasta. And that's the medium. So I'm just going to take this, drop it in. All this takes about the same amount of time to cook. So that's good. Raise my heat. Ouch. Give everything a stir so nothing sticks together. The last thing you want to do, guys, and I've done this when I was younger, is to take a whole box of pasta, dump it in a big pot of boiling water, and just leave it. Because what happens is if you don't give it a stir, you're going to think it's done because it's been the right amount of time. But you're just going to have a whole bunch of clumps of pasta that's all stuck together. And it's going to be raw, and it's not going to be done. Okay, so with a metal pan, guys, remember, if it looks cool, it's probably not. So you want to have a mitt, okay? So this is metal. This is all metal. So this part of the pan is cool because it's further away. But this little part of the pan that I'm going to hold on to is not. It's hot. So I'm going to lift this up very carefully. When you're walking through a kitchen, if somebody else was here, I would say coming behind, or I would say behind. because you don't want anybody to just, you could get hurt really badly if you get boiling water splashed on you. But everything is. Okay. Get a knife, a fork, a spoon, and a fork. Okay. See if they can see this here. Hold on. This is better. This is the homemade pasta that we made. You see how nice and wide that is?
Yes.
Okay, good. And it's nice and wide. This is the angel hair that we made. That I bought from Aldi's. Trying to give you so you don't get the glare. All right. And this is the potato and gnocchi. Hold on a second. Better if I do this. See? I'm making him move everywhere. Okay, so we're going to show both cameras. So this is what that sauce looks like in this camera, Patrick. Can you see?
Good.
Good. Okay.